Hi guys, I just joined the Vocaloid fandom. I know I'm a little late, but I wanted to join it because I like the characters and like what their designs are and stuff, and I just wanted to draw them and just, enjoy it in general. My favorite Vocaloid is Kasane Teto because I like the color red and she's pretty and I like the character. Stop right there, Buckaroo! Are you enjoying something? How dare you enjoy something that's so old? Do you know how old the Vocaloid fandom is? I bet you don't because you've just joined, so you're stupid. Here on the internet in 2025, you can't like anything for more than a few months. And if a fandom you're in is trending, as soon as it dies, you have to move on. But you know what will always be relevant? Fucking nukes! Get nuked, cringe lord. No, don't nuke me for liking something. Too late. Cringe culture. Something I hear quite a lot being on the internet so often. I've probably been on the internet for roughly around nearly 10 years now. 10 years, not even an adult, and that's over half my life. And even with the internet, interests and fandoms have always been a thing. It's just with the internet, it's been easier to find more people who are in the same fandoms. This usually leads to communities and groups, even making friends and such from similar fandoms or just same interests and whatnot. I can say this because fandoms I'm in have personally gotten me a lot of friends. But unfortunately, relevancy is something that cannot be forever. And, well, this is literally a golden rule of the internet. Everybody knows that something that's big and popular will eventually die out. Just the time for it to do so varies. And that's where we bring into the idea of cringe culture. And the main focus of today's video, my hate for it! So, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I have any sort of liking for this idea. I am a strong hater of the idea of cringe culture, and the main reason is, for ages I have been following this said cringe culture, and well, I've not been enjoying literally anything because of it. Now listen, I'd say I'd give a bit of context, but I probably yapped about this for like 3 videos now, so I'm just gonna summarize basically. Because I had somebody who was really into this whole cringe culture thing, I was in the Edwell fandom for like 3 months. That's it. Bye bye. And this was basically my earliest experience of cringe culture, and my first earliest sadness with the idea of it. And this was my first encounter, but it was certainly not my last. And well, only really in around, God, I'd say August? No, probably August, something like that, is when I really just decided, hey, you know what? Fuck cringe culture, because I actually want to enjoy stuff for more than fucking 5 minutes. If it isn't clear, I'm very angry about this idea. Hey, that makes great entertainment for you all, so that's why I'm talking about it today. So, for the few of you in my audience who don't know what cringe culture is, I'm going to explain it the best I can here. So, usually in the prime popularity of a fandom or a media, everybody enjoys it and everybody clambers together on social media to express their interest for it. Usually, artists, animators, editors, etc., etc. And the idea of cringe culture is that if you dwell on something for too long, you're immediately cringe. However, this isn't the only case of cringe culture, as it doesn't just apply to media, it applies to literally anything about a person. For an example, your style. I'm personally a scene person, which back in the day was seen as very cringe. And still kinda is. Other things include just the way you act, your presence online, the way you respond to things. It's literally one of the broadest terms ever, but I'm going to explain maybe the more media side of it and the style kind of it, but more the media. You see, back in ye olden days, stuff like My Little Pony gore, just gore for kids media in general, Slendytubbies, Five Nights at Freddy's, that kind of internet era. It's been kind of a nostalgic resurgence in this kind of the internet recently. Recently, I mean a little few years ago, with the introduction of like the FNAF movie and stuff like that. And what do you know? The people who were actually enjoying this nostalgia more publicly, because obviously it's nostalgia, but just enjoying it in general, were received with some kind of backlash. Your usual just, you're so cringe, and death threats. Love that for the internet, folks. This is probably one of the most notable examples of what cringe culture can do. Unfortunately, all the people who actually wanted to be open about what they liked at the time were forced into hiding because, oh god, people from the internet are gonna come hunt us down with spears and pitchforks, fucking help me! This is a common phenomenon, unfortunately. And I'm kind of from this era of the internet, so obviously I wasn't aware this resurgence happened immediately. I was more aware when it actually settled down from being the death threats and stuff kind of part. But the whole reason I know about such is because I'm an advocate Pinterest user, and a lot of people are advocating against this kind of bullying for people who like this. And obviously, this was something I was not aware of until recently. I thought, what the fuck? That's not cool. Why are you making fun of people for something they like? And then I realized, wait, I've experienced something that's similar. And that was basically how I came to understand what cringe culture was. However, this kind of nostalgic kind of cringe has been more socially accepted now on the internet. But you know what? Unfortunately, we can't have peace on this platform. So, have you ever heard of Skibbity Toilet? YouTube Shorts? That kind of, shtick. Believe it or not, these same kids who like this stupid talking head toilet thing or whatever are being treated the same way as people who were literally growing up watching fucking gore. A generational effect, if you will. Now look, I'm gonna make a point here. It might be a little, but I personally think that we should not be treating these kids like this. Number one, they're kids. Number two, it's literally not as bad as like what we grew up on. Like, I'd rather come in and see like my younger cousin watching bloody Skibbity Toilet instead of little cute ponies ripping each other apart with chainsaws, and it's bloody. I feel like it's become normalized to accept some things but hate on others, but we can hate on it because we were ridiculed. If anything, we should be the one defending these people. They're the ones who are literally the victims right now, and fuck, in some cases, we're the ones hating on them. Again, being on Pinterest, I've seen this opinion be spread a lot, and I can't help but be one of the biggest agreeers of this. Yeah, Skibbity Toilet is stupid, it's weird, and it just, you don't have to like it. I'm just saying you can't hate on one person but go on to be defending of another. Different medias, yes, but it's the same argument. And please, for the love of God, YouTube Shorts is not the end of the world. Yes, it's not doing the best for kids, and yes, the age of the kids watching these is a little concerning. Plus, not to mention the strange stuff that's making it onto the Kids For You page. That's a whole other different thing, and I'm not going to spend too long dwelling on that. But come on, there's much more weirder stuff out there they could be watching, but at least they're watching bloody, what's it called? Poppy Playtime, cute catnap video, whatever. I mean, hell, I grew up on something similar. I'm from the era of the internet that was when, like, bloody As If movie was popular. And, like, I remember still seeing, like, those kind of, well, at least the older kind of versions. Like, did you ever see the baby Elsa and Anna videos? Like, it's kind of became a bit of a joke, like, the audios, but that's what I grew up on. I used to watch those. And you know what? Even if it's not completely filled with brain rot and just brain numbing stuff, it's kind of similar to the stuff you see on YouTube Shorts nowadays. So, like, maybe we should stop hating on little kids for enjoying something, because at the end of the day, they're happy. That's what we want. We want people being happy and not being chased away. They don't care what people think. Sure, they might if it's, like, done enough, but we can't, like, normalize the hate being so, big. Because, again, they're kids. Even if they act all tough, they're at a very impressionable age. Which means the said hate we're putting on them can affect them in negative ways. Heck, even probably making them more horrible people than the people just saying, you're cringe lol, XD. Like, you all get where I'm coming from here. Like, people can say, oh my god, a cringe fandom, so, Danganronpa, Junko pose, whatever, bloody hell. At the end of the day, you have to pick a lane. You can't hate something but then go on to defend something else. That's called being a hypocrite. And being hypocritical is not a good thing to be. Don't be proud of that. Like, just think of how much of a better place the internet would be if we could literally just say, hey, like what you like. If I don't like what you like, that's okay. I'm just not going to interact with you. And if you want to be cringy, okay, you do that. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. That's like the main thing I want people to understand. You can have fun. If somebody's going to say different, just ignore them. Don't like come out and just offend them. That doesn't make you a better person. That's just stooping down to their level. Like, if we can all just agree to like what we like and then not make fun of people for what they like, won't the internet just be a nicer place? Like, you can like Genshin Impact. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but hey, I'm not gonna harass you for liking that. If we can agree to disagree and just stop arguing, it'd just be better. And I feel like cringe culture is literally just a way for us to like ignore the fact that this can be settled quite easily. Agreeing to disagree is not a bad thing. Not everyone has to have the same opinion. And I guess the sooner we all realize this, maybe this means we might save ourselves a bit. Because hell, I don't like certain things, but I get along with people who do like them. Just because we don't like the same thing doesn't mean there's conflict. You shouldn't let somebody else's opinion or somebody else's thoughts thing take up your whole thought and let it just boil and fester and become this big problem. It's not a big deal somebody likes to watch talking head toilets singing the same song. And it's not a big deal you like ponies ripping each other apart and turning them into cupcakes. At the end of the day, not a big deal. We shouldn't be making such a fucking fuss over it. Like, why are we all fusspots all of a sudden? And cringe culture, for me personally, has taught me to be a bit more forgiving to this kind of phenomenon. Yes, I don't like Skibbity Toilet. I'm not saying I do, but I have a younger cousin who does, and am I being rude to her for hating it? No, because she's young. She's a kid. And at the end of the day, cringe culture is literally just something that, in my opinion, is just kind of stupid. And that's why I hate it so much. It's ridicule for basically no reason. Something that can just easily be solved, dragged out for like no reason. And that's literally just my opinion. Again, you don't have to agree with me. If you want to disagree with me, that's fine. The main takeaway I want the video to be is that we don't have to be the same person, basically. We can have different thoughts from each other, and that shouldn't stop us getting along. Or we don't even have to get along, it just means we don't have to fight each other over it. Because fighting over something that small is just completely unnecessary. We are turning things into problems that probably don't need to be turned into problems. Waste your breath on hating people who actually deserve it rather than people who are just trying to enjoy something on their tablet. Then we can all be at peace. Anyway, very long one, but I do thank you all so much for watching. My voice is absolutely exhausted. I hope you did like this one. Again, you can tell I did not script this at all, but you can also tell that this is much more opinionated from how angry I got and how rambly I got. If you do have any opinions you want to share in the comments, feel free to do so. I will read them and I will reply if I feel like I want to reply to it. Because I do like seeing people's differing opinions. It's interesting to see somebody's different outlook from your own. Anyway, that's gonna be all. Love you all so much. Bye, guys.